Hi everyone, my name is Khairul Azmi. Today I'll be presenting about reward and productivity, a case study for sales staff in BSN. For abstract slide, I divide into four parts, which is the first one is research foundation, second is methodological approach, the third one is critical findings, and the fourth one is the strategic implications. Now, let's move to the research foundation. The primary objective is to evaluate the relationship between commission-based rewards and sales productivity at BSN. For the current context, a decline in BSN's financial efficiency from a peak of 281.28 in 2021 to 266.95 in 2025. For methodological approach, the sample size is about 175 BSN personnel with a strong of 81.78% response rate. For data integration, we merge primary survey data with secondary retail data. And then for analysis technique, multiple and simple linear regression, MLR and SLR, and WASPAS factor ranking. For critical findings, hypothesis testing, there is no significant statistical link found between the rewards values and sales productivity, where the p-value is equivalent to 0.481. Next, for priority ranking, organizational support was identified as the highest priority for staff with an index of 1.172. For the incentive gap, rewards were ranked lower in impact than support with a score of 1.172. For strategy implications, for the policy shift, the recommendation is to move away from a reward heavy strategy towards enhanced support system. For financial goal, we encourage to improve the cost to income ratio and reducing the operating expenditure, which is the OPEX. And for therefore sustainability, ensuring the bank remains financially healthy while fulfilling its national social mandate. For problem statement, number one, the DFI Balancing Act. BSN must fulfill its social mandate to underserved segment while maintaining commercial profitability. Second, financial objective. The bank aims to maximize the revenue while minimizing OPEX and CIR. Third is a workforce constraint. Achieving these goals require high sales productivity from a limited workforce. Number four, the core challenge. It is unclear if the current commission based reward system is actually effective in driving staff motivation and sales output. Number five is statistical analysis. This study uses MLR, SLR, and WASPAS to determine if these relationships between the variables are statistically significant. And last one is our strategic goal to provide data-driven insight that help PSN optimize its remuneration strategy for sustainable success. For objective, number one, to determine the predictive relationship between organizational factors such as reward and expectancy, perceived fairness, and organizational support and staff motivation using multiple linear regression. Second, to evaluate the impact of staff motivation on real sales achievement or productivity using simple linear regression. Third, to identify which specific organizational factor such as reward, fairness, or support serve as the strongest predictor of staff motivation. And the last one, to rank and prioritize these factors using the WASPAS index to provide data-driven recommendations for BSN's reward strategy. For methodology, I divide this slide into two parts. The first one is on the conceptual framework, and the second one is in terms of the process. Now, for the conceptual framework, this is the overall model that we have. If you can see on the left side, it is technically there are three independent variables, which are rewards and expectancy, perceived fairness, and organizational support. Meanwhile, for the mediator variables is the staff motivation, and the dependent variables is the productivity or the real sales achievement. Next, let's move to the data collection or the process. Under data collection, there are three items which are the primary data, secondary data, and sampling frame. For primary data, online survey using snowball sampling methodology that covers all independent and dependent variables in the questions. Next, for the secondary data, we request the data to retail banking department that consists of actual sales performance and actual commission payout. And last one, the sampling frame. We adopted Cochrane's formula where we derived that the sample size was identified at 214. After the data was gathered through the questionnaire and everything, before we proceed to do the analysis, we are required to do data pre-processing. So under data pre-processing, I divide into two parts. The first one is data pre-processing and transformation, and the second one is the data exploration. So for under data pre-processing and transformation, there are few steps are taken, which is the first one is data wrangling and management, data cleaning, data transformation, feature engineering, and value labeling. Meanwhile, for data exploration, they involve in demographic analysis, reliability analysis, and diagnostic check, which consists of normality test, linearity test, multicollinearity test, and homoscedasticity test. This diagnostic test is a very crucial before we proceed with data modeling. And then the last one is the data modeling and WASPAS. For data modeling, we use two. Number one is multiple linear regression or MLR. For this MLR, we use to evaluate the model between independent and mediator variables. Meanwhile, for simple linear regression, this model to evaluate between mediator and independent and dependent variables. For model evaluation, we use ANOVA, where ANOVA is adopted to test both model whether the model is fit or not fit. And last one was pass. This is to measure the weight of each factor and prioritize it through ranking method. For this slide, what you can see is about demographic analysis results. Number one, for the gender part, from 175 respondents, 66 of the respondents or 37.7% were male and 109 of the respondents or 62.3% were female. Next one, we talk about age. 57.7% or 101 of the participants are at the age of 30 to 39 years old. The remaining samples are 10 respondents are at the age of 18 to 29 years old with a percentage of 11.4%. 34 respondents are at the age of 40 to 49 with a percentage of 19.4%. And 18 of the respondents are at the age of 50 to 59 years old with a percentage of 10.3%. There were only 1.1% or 2 personnel who are at the age of 60 and above. Next, let's look into year of service. Majority of respondents, or 112 respondents, or 64%, have been working with BSN between 0 to 9 years. Meanwhile, 30 respondents, or 17.1% respondents, have been working between 10 to 19 years. Next, 12 or 6.9% respondents have been working between 20 to 29 years with BSN. 20 respondents or 11.4% have been working between 30 to 39 years. And only 0.6% or one respondent has been working for more than 40 years. The mean year of service of respondent is 10.56 years. Lastly, highest education. Nearly half of the participants, 77 or 44%, possess a bachelor's degree. The remaining sample consisted of diploma holders, with 55 respondents or 34.4%. 35 respondents are SPM holder with 20%, and those with postgraduate degrees 4.6% or 8 respondents combined from both masters and PhD. This high level of education suggests that The respondents were well equipped to understand and respond to the survey's complex constructs regarding rewards and expectancy, organizational support, perceived fairness, and staff motivation. For this slide, we will discuss about multiple linear regression and ANOVA results. For this multiple linear regression, again, is between the model independent variables and the mediator variables. So, for the model interpretation and standardized coefficient, all the independent variables are statistically significant since the significant value is less than alpha value 0.05. Consequently, the second hypothesis and the third hypothesis are accepted. Modeling prediction, if you can see there, the staff motivation is equivalent to 1.250 plus 0.317 rewards and expectancy minus 0.285 perceived fairness plus 0.722 organizational support. For modeling prediction, we assume that all variables are increased by 1 unit. The staff motivation will be at a score of 2.004. For the strength factor, the standardized coefficient, the higher the value, without considering the plus minus sign, the stronger the variable has over the staff motivation. Organizational support has the highest beta, 0.778, which means that it is the most important driver of staff motivation. It is also followed by rewards and expectancy with 0.362, which contributes to a positive staff motivation. Perceived fairness, meanwhile, has a significant negative value with a score of negative 0.336, which suggested that fairness perception change, staff motivation move in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, for ANOVA part, the model fitness, it shows that the p-value is less than 0.001. Since the F statistic is 94.027 and the p-value is less than 0.05, null hypothesis is rejected. This confirms that the independent variables such as rewards and expectancy, perceived fairness, and organizational support are collectively providing a significant explanation of the variance in staff motivation. The model is considered a good fit for the data. Next, let's discuss in terms of the simple linear regression and ANOVA results. Again, the simple linear regression is between the mediator, or now we call it as independent variables, against the dependent variables, which is the productivity or the real sales achievement. From the model interpretation, a standardized coefficient, the independent variable is not statistically significant to the dependent variables, since the significant value is higher than alpha value of 0.05. From the model, it shows that the changes in staff motivation levels do not reliably predict changes in actual sales figure. Meanwhile, for standardized coefficient, for strength and reliability, the standardized coefficient value is only 0.054, which indicates an extremely weak relationship. This shows that the hypothesis stating that motivational directly influences achievement is not supported. Meanwhile, for ANOVA model, the p-value is at 0.481. Since the F statistic is 0.500 and the p-value is greater than 0.05, null hypothesis is accepted. This confirms that the independent variable, staff motivation, is not providing a significant explanation of the variance in real sales achievement. Therefore, the model is considered not a good fit for the data. After completion of data modeling in ANOVA, we move to WASPAS index. If you can see here, there's a table. From the table, it shows that the integration of the regression weights and the descriptive means into the WASPAS index, it provides a definitive ranking of the variables that drive staff motivation. If you can see from here, it's already ranked. Number one is organizational support, second is rewards and expectancy, and the third one is the perceived fairness. For organizational support, which rank at 1, With a final WASPAS index score of 2.0245, this variable is the most significant for staff motivation. It looks dominant as this factor has the highest value of for standardized coefficient with a beta of 0.778, which resulted to a weightage of 52.7%. Meanwhile, for rewards and expectancy, which rank at 2, although this variable has the highest mean score of 3.8789, it achieved a lower score of 1.172. This indicates that while staff value rewards, their impact on actual motivation is significantly lower than the organizational support. And last one is on the perceived fairness. This factor contributes the least to the motivation index with score of 1.085. After completion of WASPAS index, let's link the WASPAS to the financial efficiency, OPEX and CIR and DFI. Financial efficiency, where it defined as the ratio total product achievement to the total commission payout. In 2021, the financial efficiency scored at 281.28, which was the highest for the past 5 years. These figures indicate that BSN generated a lot of sales with relatively less spending on the commission. The current problem shows that the bank's primary strategy only focuses on rewards and expectancy, although the WASPAS index identified that the variable ranked at 2 with the score of 1.172. The data suggests that to return an efficiency of 281.28, like in 2021, the bank needs to enhance the organizational support system rather than simply increasing the commission budget. Next, for the context of OPEX and CIR, BSN declined in efficiency from 281.28 in 2021 to 266.95 in 2025, shows that the bank is paying higher commission relative to actual sales output, leading to inflated of OPEX and CIR. While rewards were ranked second with a score of 1.172, they represent the most expensive growth strategy. Instead, the bank should pivot towards the top rank factor by prioritizing organizational support, which rank at 1 through better tools and training act as a cost-effective lever to increase sales income while lowering the CIR and improving long-term profitability. And the next part in terms of development financial institution or DFI, BSN unique DFI status requires balancing profit with social mandates, but the decline in efficiency from 281.28 to 269.95 threatens a long-term sustainability. High reliance on commission is a commercial bank strategy that leads staff to prioritize urban customer over the harder to reach rural segment, which BSN is mandated to serve. By prioritizing organizational support through mobile technology and administrative relief, empowers staff to reach underserved sectors without sacrificing the financial efficiency. As to conclude this presentation, as a summary, this research set out to investigate the factors that affected sales productivity within BSN, particularly focusing on the tension between rewards incentive and staff perception. It was found out that the link between commission-based rewards and sales productivity was not statistically significant, as the p-value is 0.481, which rejecting the hypothesis 1. This suggests that PSN cannot rely solely on increasing financial rewards to drive performance. On the other hand, the WASPAS analysis revealed that the organizational support is the most critical variable for staff motivation, where it ranked as first with a score of 2.0245, which almost doubled the score for rewards and expectancy with a score of 1.172. Meanwhile, for the reflection, these findings are highly reliable, given that 81.78% response rate from 175 genuine samples, which is above the acceptable academic threshold for quantitative research. As a recommendation, the study also tracked BSN's financial efficiency, which currently scores at 266.95 in 2025. Although this shows a recovery from the low scores in 2023, with a 246.74, it is still below the peak efficiency of 281.28, which was achieved in back 2021. To remediate the gap and return to the peak efficiency, it is recommended that BSN management to shift the strategy from a transactional reward, which currently is the heavy focus, to prioritize the organizational support. By investing in the tools and system that staff needs to perform, PSN can improve its sales output without significantly inflating its OPEX, which consequently lower the CIR while allowing the bank to remain sustainability as a DFI. And lastly, for the limitations, the purely quantitative approach prioritized statistical precision for the WASPA's ranking, but it did not capture personal staff narrative through quantitative interviews. Findings are tailored to BSN's unique DFI mandate, meaning results may not be directly generalized to purely commercial banking institutions. Result reflects staff sentiments between 2021 and 2025. Shifting economics conditions require periodic reviews of efficiency scores to maintain strategic alignment. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much.